become legends in their own lifetime. But the statement certainly is valid in the case of one Ron Barassi. Barassi stormed the football world over 2 decades ago and became the first coach to will his players to greater things by the subtle and often not so subtle use of psychology. Not that Barassi probably realised at the outset that his methods were more psychological than physical, but it didn't take long for his methods to be copied almost universally in football and many other sports as well. In tonight's program, Mike Willesee examines the Barassi phenomenon to find out what makes him tick and why he's in such demand for his motivational lectures to all sorts of groups. There hasn't been a more controversial or successful coach in the history of Australian football, and some suggest that there never will be. See what you think.
So is that right? Yeah,
Up there for 50, it's there to win.
Program's 50 cents. Program's here, only 50 cents.
He's not ready to be shy.
Nobody was quite sure what to expect on that Sunday in March. There had been a lot of speculation, a lot of anticipation. This was the first game of Australian rules to be played at the Sydney Cricket Ground, featuring the new Sydney Swans. It was a bold step into New South Wales, and 15,000 had come to see the Swans take on Melbourne. But I'd come to see just one man. His name is Ron Barassi.
We're going up the middle wall! Tell the Rovers we're going up the middle, so they've got to get down to those crumbs like this. Jesus, he's cramped round it. In sport, the object is to win. I mean, that's the objective. If you're not interested in that, I say go and play marbles. Tony, get on the mark properly!
Cheryl Barassi is an artist. Her marriage with Ron runs directly counter to his public image. She is independent, she speaks freely, she is intelligent and humorous. Ron Barassi has an image of fierceness and even narrowness in his single-minded determination. But public images are distorted masks. They take a caricature and freeze it.
Roger, what are you doing going back like this?
They put grounding on the road. Rest two.
Ellen, that bloody half-volley error, a simple error, which I mention at least twice a bloody month at training, you have let happen and they get a goal out of it. Barrow, it's been terrific so far, but you just mind your pace. You know, sometimes you can use it when you're crowded by opposition, get it straight on your foot. Will you stop being so bloody fancy?
I once tried out for a senior Melbourne football team. Men like these were idolised, and I was one of the hundreds of young hopefuls who tried so desperately that particular year to join their ranks. We wanted to be like them. But even when we were given the chance, we learnt that that was barely a beginning. To get there and stay there requires an overwhelming determination. Most people have to develop that. If you start to question the agony of training, the abuse, the frustration, then you're unlikely to succeed.
I mean, don't look at me like that. How many kicks have you got? That's the answer to everything. Possessions. You give me possessions and I'll shut up. God. Tony, what the hell are you doing? I mean, you've got one possession so far. The ball goes up to the 4-forward line and you're there. As the rover on the ball, why don't you stay back? We've got a rover down there. Why don't you think, man?
It was, I heard you yell out, so I thought that meant go down.
Boy, that shows how much you know about the bloody game.
Must lead.
Brent, look, we can't go on much longer like this, with you not getting a touch. I'd rather have someone else there. We're being a bit over-anxious, by the way. And we're not playing our own game, also, by the way. Stephen?
Sitting back a bit.
You're not on the ball, I can tell that. Your aerial work can be a lot better, including the punching side of it. David, also you can be a lot better. You've got to be strong. There was a part there early in the quarter where the ball went over your head, out comes a fullback, and you advance at less than full pace towards the guy. Run at full pace at the last split second before the collision, turn your shoulder, you won't get hurt, he'll go down, you may get the ball. Straight, haven't we ever heard of a turn shoulder?
Do you remember your perception of Ron before you got to know him well?
I suppose I had an impression of him because you see his face around a lot. And I thought he looked a pretty straightforward sort of character, committed to his work and obviously very good at it. But I had a prejudice about footballers. Most women do because they've never been allowed to play, you know. So you assume that's the last bastion of all the things you're not going to be allowed in on. And I thought they were probably pretty dumb and pretty egotistical and that sort of thing, a bit muscle-bound. So when I met Ron, I suppose I did have that feeling that he would be the iron jockstrap, you know, of that syndrome. And I was just delighted. I didn't have much to do with him the first night I met, but I remember him sitting at a distance and saying to an American woman who was taking a big shine to him, and she was asking him what the Australian national drink was, and he said, Claret and Coke. You know, everybody drinks Claret and Coke, and he had this woman drinking Claret and Coke all night. And I thought, well, he's obviously quite cute.
Very nice to be still invited around the country to speak, because last year the team I coached won one game out of 22 by 1 point with a kick after the bell.
Barassi hasn't always been a winner in football or in business or in his personal relations. In 1976, when IBM asked him to address their convention for computer sales trainees, he was broke. But hundreds of companies and business groups feel that his experiences are valuable, and they like the ideas he promotes.
In football, we don't try and win. Do you know that? We don't try and win. We try and win by as much as we can. 20 push-ups. I know and you know that the fitter you are physically, the better your brain works and the more energy you have. So if we're so unfit and in a young country with a lot to do, by God. Hey! Adrian Batterson! Got there. Beautiful. Hey! Bring it already. 30 rounds, 20 push-ups.
You know what winners do? Winners listen and losers just wait until it's their turn to talk.
Oh, take it again. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Hey, on your own, Jacko. Quick hands, Tiger. Oh, brilliant stuff. Don't know what use it is.
There are three sorts of people in the world. Those that make it happen, those that watch it happen, and those who say, well, what happened? I hope, like hell, that you're in the first group.
Oh, good one. Well done, Jacko.
I like to know I'm in control. I don't want anybody or anything controlling me. I think we should practice willpower. I think willpower is a thing that can be, practiced. And that's another example of willpower. And if you want to keep your body tuned up, you keep fit. If you want to keep your mind tuned up, you keep it energetic. If you want to keep your willpower and determination up to the scratch, I think you've got to test yourself every now and again. And the last one. Now, I won't short circuit, will I? No, you won't short circuit.
To evaluate Barassi's standards of physical toughness, we decided to give him a couple of simple tests.
You're going to have to wear this face mask.
The first was a physical stamina examination of the type some corporations make their executives undergo.
Any questions?
No, boss.
Right, just hold that over your mouth and nose. I want you to pedal with the needle on 70 on the dial there. If you can't see 70, we'll let you know. And pedal at that frequency continuously through the test. Any questions? Okay. Right, well, you can start pedaling. Bring the needle up to 70 on the dial. That's it, just a bit faster. Touch faster. Touch faster. Fine. How are you feeling? Okay, good. Okay, Ron, now we're going to increase that resistance a little more, so you've got more work to do, and you're going to have to try that a little bit harder. So your heart rate's now 100, 102, and your cardiograph's perfect, and everything's great. I'm going to make it a little harder now, and there's more resistance, so there's more work required. Now we'll notice that Ron's heart rate is responding very slowly to work increases. His heart rate's still only 105 beats a minute. And that means that Ron has got a pretty fit and efficient heart muscle, because he's doing quite an amount of work now at a pretty low heart rate. Now I want you to start increasing the revs now. Once you get it revs around the 80, just a little over 80. Make it a bit easier on your knees. Okay, it's getting tougher now. Now we're getting you a little bit of work to do here. Your heart rate's coming through to 130. Now, at this stage, Ron's working against a load of 200 watts, which is a fair amount of work, and most people with inefficient hearts would be long finished by now. Their heart rate would have reached maximum, but because Ron's got a pretty efficient heart muscle, he's still going strong against a pretty good workload, and the heart rate's 140 plus. How are you feeling?
That's great. A little bit more work to do. That's terrific. Now, we predict that you've got around 2.25 minutes to go by the results coming through on the gas analysis machine. That's great. You've got 35 seconds in this minute, and then one final one to go. We hope like hell it's not a draw. We'll have to come back next week. Let's get away from football for a moment and look at whether there were parts of your life where you just had that instinct to win, and winning meant coming first. I mean, I'll admit I heard a little family secret that when you played Monopoly with the kids years ago, you...
Yes, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I found it very hard to even let the kids win, at Monopoly, which is, then that's really bad in a way. There was a bit of a struggle within me, because I am trained to, go full bore for winning. That doesn't mean to say you'll do anything to win, you'll break any rule at all. It doesn't mean to say that at all, and it doesn't mean to say if the loss comes that you're a crushed person for months. It doesn't mean that at all, but I do like to have a go at the objective of the game, and even with the kids, and I did find it hard, because it was an instinct, I suppose, which I'd let run full rein for 15 years.
And Ron's got 62, 61, 60 seconds left now. You feeling good? Great. This minute's going to get pretty tough. Your heart rate's up around 160 now. You're breathing 80 litres of air every minute. You've got 38, 37 seconds left. You're nearing your peak. That's fantastic. Good stuff. We're into time on, Brass. We've got half a minute left. Push, 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 push. Now we're at you. That's great. Heart rate 165.
No faster than 95. We have 23 seconds.
20 seconds, you're going to make it. Keep going, keep going. 17, 16, 15. Come on. Push, push. Fantastic. 10 seconds.
How you feeling?
When we get down to 0, I want you to keep pedaling. We're going to take the resistance off the bike. 3, 2, 1. Well done. Keep pedaling. Gentle, nice and easy.
Slow the rate down.
Let it come down. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Just slow the rate right down. Bring it down to about 60. That's it. Just keep pedaling nice and slowly.
Just easy, easy, easy.
Just got to keep that blood circulating.
Okay, that was a great test. We've got to get to your peak oxygen intake, and now we're going to watch your heart recover for at least 3 minutes. And the fitter your heart, the quicker it's going to recover.
Barassi's heart turned out to have a great recovery rate. After 3 minutes, it was back to 97. At peak, he'd been pushing 42 mils of oxygen for every kilogram he weighed, which means that 95% of Australians are nowhere near as fit as he is.
How you feeling?
All right. We've got another minute slowly.
Now we start the test.
My mother thinks Ron is so beautiful. They hardly ever have a conversation, but he's not very sociable to most people, really. He's kind but not sociable. So my mother leers at his legs and says if I was 20 years younger and all that sort of thing. But she's not a dirty old woman. She just has a good sense of aesthetics.
How do women generally react to Ron?
Which kind? There's one at every party, a fairly inebriated matron who always comes up and says, excuse me, but I don't like football, and expects Ron to have a reaction to that of some sort. But I think he's got heaps of sex appeal. He's such a healthy, vital-looking guy. And he laughs nicely, he laughs easily, and that's fairly sexy, I think. I think he's very attractive to men and women as a person.
Does that give you any problems, especially when he has such a high profile?
And he's a prestige you-know-what. No, it doesn't actually, because he hasn't had a lot of spare time. And he always comes home, so I haven't had to worry about where he is.
Paul, you beat me at table tennis.
And this is your sport, isn't it?
This is my
So
turn.
there's no excuses?
No excuse.
Right.
And lunch.
And good luck.
You don't need to know much about Barassi to know that he's competitive. That's what his name has come to mean. There are lots of great achievers in Australian sport, but when it comes to sheer will to win, Barassi outranks them all.
15-0.
Yep.
Wine with the lunch.
You can say you know that, you can say you accept that, but to actually compete with Barassi, then you feel it.
Well done.
A friendly tennis match which began artificially for the sake of the camera. Soon the camera is forgotten. Now it's different. You feel the pressure. This is Barassi. It's as if every shot matters. Every mistake hurts. Even playing tennis today before the film camera, you still set out to win.
Yeah, but that's nothing like the force that I could bring to bear on if it was football. Really is. And it's nothing like the force I could bring, I used to bring to bear in my contests in sports I was reasonably good at when I was a lot younger. Now, I have lost some of that, except in football, this fierce competitiveness that I am mellowing, I suppose.
What are the symptoms of that sort of fierceness?
Well, I used to sort of, I don't know, you'd experience some sort of almost a change within you. I used to notice it when the big event arrived, whether it be the school athletics meeting, which was the house championships or the intra-schools. Now, on the day I used to find something extra, and I don't know how I did it. It just something that used to happen within me, and it used to hone my concentration up tremendously.
Did you have symptoms of illness or anxiety or?
No, I just used to...
Sleeplessness? Or?
No, I just used to feel fantastic and very powerful. Not arrogantly confident, but just really powerful. And as I got older, say to be, in my 20s, I used to be able to produce that feeling, I won't say at will, but control a bit more,
Ron Barassi was an only child. His father, who was killed at Tobruk when Ron was 3, had played football for Melbourne. He played alongside a man who in time became one of VFL's legendary coaches, the late Norm Smith. Ron grew up in the country. His relationship with his mother was very close, but when he was 16, his mother remarried and went to live in Tasmania. Ron was then forced to choose between his blossoming love of football and staying with his mother. It was a key decision in his life. He went to live with Norm Smith and his wife. Both Ron and Norm's concentration on the game was total.
Well, driving in on a Saturday morning was pretty ghastly. Norm didn't want to speak, Ron didn't want to speak. Pete, as a 7 or 8 year old or so, wanted to chatter on madly. I'd sit in the back with Pete trying to keep him quiet. Eventually I found that perhaps taking a book for him to read quietly was the answer to the problem. Norm nor Ron very seldom drive to any football ground.
It's beautifully there. All picks up, hand passes to Barassi. Barassi hooks it in. He shapes up, he shoots from an acute angle. Oh, remarkable!
Barassi had ambition and wasn't afraid to show it. During 10 successful years under Norm Smith, he became captain. There was even talk of him replacing Smith as coach. His name hit the headlines and he showed the ability to handle publicity while shielding his first wife and their young family. Then he dropped a bombshell.
Glorious mark taken by Ronald Dale Barassi.
He announced he was transferring to Carlton, again as captain. No star player before had dared to change Guernseys. The sporting world was shocked.
Hand passes it again. There's a chance for Barassi. He's going to run into trouble, though.
At Carlton, he became captain-coach and led his team to premierships in 1968 and 1970. He had the magic touch.
He pops it and goal, and it's right through.
And look at this! Look at it! 21 years since a premiership.
But in VFL, there was one team that had never played in a grand final in its history, North Melbourne. An aggressive administration under Dr. Alan Aylett decided that Barassi was the coach they had to get.
He certainly was a step ahead of everyone else as far as his thoughts on the game. He had charisma. He was a public figure. Everyone in Melbourne looked up to him, even though they may not have always agreed with what he was saying publicly, but he, in North Melbourne's case, was the fellow to get. There was no other. When Ron came, the players immediately got a huge psychological lift, and it was almost as though God had arrived, and they did everything that he told them to do, and his advice was spot on.
Barassi's success at North Melbourne was again phenomenal. It was helped by his exploitation of the 10-year rule that had earlier allowed him to leave Melbourne for Carlton. Before other clubs knew what he was up to, he had brought in 3 experienced star players. and soon they were joined by Malcolm Blight from South Australia.
As a coach,
the question was, how would older players like Blight respond to his authoritarian approach?
I was amazed by this person who would keep on abusing me and a lot of other players in the side. It was frightening. He had this tremendous desire to succeed, and in doing so would get very frustrated during a game when those plans didn't come to fruition. So, I mean, the aftermath of all that was a severe verbal barrage from him, which certainly made you sit back and think, first of all, did the bloke like you? Secondly, was he always right? And thirdly, what were you going to do about it? I guess really, in looking back now, it certainly hurt.
Yep, Malcolm Blight's going off, John. Bit of a blow, I suppose, to a fellow like Malcolm Blight, a star player, a big contract player, being taken off the ground at three-quarter time. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. There could be an injury there, we don't know. But
And in that particular game, I incurred Brass's wrath for an action I did in the first quarter, and was virtually banished for the next 2 quarters, and in fact in the last quarter was taken from the ground, much to my dismay and horror. But the following week there was some doubt whether I would play in the replay grand final, and that would have certainly hurt. Anyhow, Brass didn't say very much to me for the whole week. I knew he was really down on me for what had happened during the grand final and the weeks leading up to it. Anyhow, the net result was that I was picked in the side, and on the Saturday of the game, he hadn't virtually spoken to me for the whole week. I really felt like a leper. Anyhow, just before we ran out in the ground, I was the last one out, and he came up to me and he said, if I was a praying man, I'd pray for you today.
North Melbourne lead by 8 points. Very close to the time-on period in the first quarter, taken by Malcolm Blight. Stuff shot for goal, and he's put it through, I think. Magnificent goal, Malcolm Blight. And I would say Ron Barassi would be saying, well, it's about time.
I guess those words just still ring in my ears, as though that was the man with the human side of him, that he wasn't always grotesque or abusive, that he really did find a character from in himself which a lot of people didn't know about, and I certainly didn't.
What about building up to a game, say Saturday morning? Does he change a bit?
Yes, he does. He's very cute, though. You could bite him on the nose and he wouldn't know you were there. When he's shaving, I just talk to him and feed him and hand him socks and things like that. And he doesn't take any notice of me or anyone else at all.
So where is he?
I think, well, actually, Friday nights, I think it starts. He sort of gets lizard eyes and stares at the ceiling. And I think he's playing grand finals on the ceiling. and Saturday morning's just a continuation of that.
Would the build-up to a grand final be so much different to that?
Not that I notice. He's very good at tuning out. He just seems to be able to go to sleep easily and forget about it. But on the day, his aura is about 50 feet wide. He's gorgeous. I like him like that. He doesn't talk to me when he's like that, but I like looking at him.
Right, gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you a man now that he, in his own field, that is of a sportsman, has virtually done to the game of Australian rules football what Christine Keeler did to the British Parliament a few years back. Celebrating today his 30 years of B-grade football, gentlemen, Mr. Ron Barassi. Mr. Barassi, may we ask you to introduce your guest to us, please, if you would be so kind?
Yeah, certainly. Certainly. My immediate right is a guy who's, I think he's a cub reporter from 028, Mike Willesee.
Mr. Mike Willesee, gentlemen, make him welcome to the radio.
No reputations are sacred, certainly not mine or Barassi's, at the celebrity luncheon of the Footlighters Club.
Could you tell us what you do for a living these days, Mr. Willesee?
I don't do anything at the moment, but I'm working on it.
Aren't we all?
Last year, Ron, do you remember the big club we did, mate? Hey, you remember? He's still on the dais. He's got the football team in front of him. He's talking about the power of positive thinking and motivation. He's saying, kill, win! And I'm thinking, no. So the next day in the paper, I want to make myself better. I see pancake maker wanted with flair and pizzazz. I thought, that's me. That's me. Barassi's in my head. So I walked in and I said, g'day, mate. I'm the best pancake maker you've ever seen. He said, come in the kitchen. Took me in the kitchen. He got the pancake mix, put it in the stove. Heated it up. I said, stand back. I picked it up, threw it over my head, did double somersault, caught it behind me back, hit it on the pedal bin when I chased that out the bar. Caught it in my teeth behind me back, double somersault, double pirouette, over me head, behind me back, on the pedal bin out the other window. I chased it, threw it up, caught it behind me back, down on the stove. He said, great, fantastic, incredible. I said, if I got the job, he said, no, you're around too much.
You're so strong-willed and you've enjoyed so much success that I understand people almost being intimidated by that, feeling, well, I just couldn't do all that. But you've had a bad time too. There was one particular time when your business went broke, you were divorced, one of your businesses was burnt to the ground, there was even a car accident. How did you handle all that?
Yeah, it was a lot of things seemed to come over a period of about a year or so. Well, I felt that all the things I learned through life and through football were very helpful then. I didn't collapse in a heap because I'm not trained to do that. I'm trained to say, well, how'd we lose? Why did we perform like that? Let's do something about it because it's next week or next year. And so those qualities are very handy in these sorts of situations where you come a bit of a cropper.
It would be very normal for you to have been low for some of that period.
We'll take the car crash. There's no need to be low about that because you're either drugged or you're getting better. So that was no worries. The marriage, well, that's certainly wasn't a happy period. The business getting into troubles, that was, I did have a couple of low days there, I will admit that. And a lot of low hours over a period of 3 or 6 months, I will admit that.
Because
but I didn't, oh yes, because I failed. And just a nasty taste in your mouth. I guess through failure, letting a few people down.
The Barassi business had been in retailing office furniture. Years earlier, John Jones had helped start it up. And I asked him to tell me why Barassi had failed.
Because Ron Barassi trusted too many people. He trusted me, and I hope I fulfilled his trust. But he was an example of Ron. I introduced him to a friend of mine, and then within 24 hours, that fellow had money thrust in his hand and started a factory, which was unbelievable. But that's the sort of thing Barassi did.
His accountant explained it all to me and said if he'd had a chance to be around, it wouldn't have occurred the way it did. So it was a time problem, I think. But all the same, he felt entirely responsible for that, and so he committed himself to years of ridiculous work, 3 years of hours that I don't believe. And I certainly don't believe we managed to have a relationship during that time, but we did somehow. I admire him terrifically for picking himself up via hard work and re-establishing himself so well, single-handedly. I admire him very much for that.
Well, totally natural way to conduct an interview. Can't hear a thing.
I can hear you, but it's no good if you have to shout. Second on the box.
You see Ron as having a great sense of humour, but you think a lot of people don't see. People don't know
Hang on,
him.
I didn't say a great sense of humour. I said he's very funny.
Isn't very right.
About 3 times a year. His wit is so scintillating it brings everyone around him to their knees in admiration. But it's about 3 times a year.
Is that right? 3 years?
Every 4 months. No, I think it's more than that.
How did you two get together?
Well, do you want the truth? Because if so, I'll speak first. Is that funny?
It could get you drowned. Okay.
Drowned?
No, I tend to colour things, and Ron calls it lying. But it's not really lying.
Yeah, it's funny that, yeah.
I think you both were a little surprised that you got together. Is that right?
Stayed together.
That was a surprise.
Well, that you were together, you know, that you got together closely and have this relationship now. I get the impression that neither of you expected that would develop of each other.
No, I certainly didn't. I told my mother day after day when I first started going out with Ron, this won't last. Don't get excited, because she thought he was wonderful and that was the sort of man I should be going out. And I just kept saying, don't get excited, it's not going to last.
Do you get jealous of each other?
Do you mean with other people threatening the relationship?
Any sort of jealousy?
Oh, there are heaps of sorts. I get jealous of Ron because he's the peacock of the family, and I find I'm picking up the garbage that the cats have torn apart out the back and lifting the dying goldfish out of the pond and things like that, and he's swanning around looking wonderful and going to lunches. And I think, yeah, I'm jealous of him sometimes.
Isn't that the greatest lot of cods of all time? Cheryl and I discuss this.
Staying out of it.
Cheryl and I discuss this continuously.
Never in
the tub. Otherwise, there mightn't have been an interview with Cheryl, because I'm not jealous of Cheryl, because she's probably one of the most honest people, if not the most honest person I've ever met. And if anything was amiss, she'd be telling me, wouldn't you? Would you? You've got to say yes now.
Sure, I would, sure. Certainly I would. We don't have any mortgages together or children together or any commitments of the normal nature that make people overlook things that drive them crazy. And so we can afford to get each other's best and hold out for a good relationship and even live 5.
So you mean you've really worked at keeping yourself independent? You're not interdependent. If you walked away, you both could do that?
Oh, well, with wounds and things, but we could do it, yes, I think so.
Cheryl, if you were doing this story, what's the one question you'd set out to ask Ron?
Probably, is he going into politics?
That does surprise me, darling. So I'm going to ask you, why are you asking?
I think you're a natural for politics, and many people would like to see you go into politics and have asked about it.
That's not answering the question why you're asking about it.
Well, I know that you're very concerned about heaps of things that could be good for local politics and otherwise. If you applied yourself, you'd have the leadership qualities and a lot of other things going for you, like intelligence, good looks.
Also, Ron, the way you didn't answer that question, you're a natural.
Like a cod that's secured on you?
It's going for nothing, won't cost anything.
Down there, your local member. You got any complaints about Fitzroy Street? See him. News. It's for free.
Right. We're running a special bus for the festival.
Oh, you already got
Ron
one?
Barassi. Nice to meet you, Ron. Good on you. Yes, what are you doing? Meeting the people.
Didn't you sell office furniture or something? That's right, and also rental cars. You name it, I've almost sold everything. Not quite. Do I ask you a very personal question?
What job are you in?
I'm out of work.
I see.
Don't forget April the 3rd, will you? Yeah. Brian Dixon.
You're minister for what then?
How about we swap? Why not?
First.
Hi there.
Barassi, thank you very much.
You want to swap? Fair enough. I would not if I were you.
Well, good luck to you anyway.
Hey, this is sorry. It's hard, isn't it?
I'm committed in football at this stage, and you couldn't do both, so it's either football or politics, and at this stage it's football.
Fire in his guts! Where's Haley? Really well done! Hello? Haley off, Ellingworth on! Bloody weak as piss.
I reckon the true heroes are the sorts of people who get up to face a difficult day, and Ron has a lot of those. And he's always intact, and he doesn't need any artificial psyching up to get up cheerfully and deliver the goods and be nice to everyone around him. Just extraordinary. I think that's brave.
You obviously see him as a very complete person.
Not really, because he's been a specialist. He's been devoted to football from such a young age, married pretty young, committed to all sorts of responsibilities at a young age. I don't think he had an ordinary teenage, and therefore he wouldn't have been able to diversify like most people or have the choices most people have. So, no, there are lots of areas of him that are really unexplored. I think he could be a terrific old man. He could suddenly become a raving intellectual or a painter or anything. You never know.
Ron Barassi measures personal success by looking at natural ability and seeing how far a person is prepared to run with it, what sacrifices they are willing to make to train themselves and develop their talent. In his own case, it seems he has never let up. When he has reached the top, he has left for a club that's at the bottom. Right now, with Melbourne, he is facing the greatest challenge of his career. Ron, what now are your goals?
Well, there's certainly a specific goal in football. I mean, the goal there is to make Melbourne a very a consistently strong club. And that's a specific goal.
So what sort of sacrifices would you make for that particular goal?
That's a good question. A hell of a lot. A hell of a lot.
Because your past successes have cost you, haven't they?
Yeah, they have cost me a bit, I suppose. But given the time over again, you know, I think I'd still take the same risks.
So it was worth it? Even, I mean, little things, well, comparatively small things like being apart from your mother to play football, through to, you know, business failure and possible marriage failure out of it?
Yes. There's a saying that the greatest risk to take is to take no risks at all. And I certainly don't want to be a guy in a rut. And the best definition of a rut is that it's like a coffin with the ends kicked out. And so having that philosophy, I'd probably do all the same things again. Try and change a couple, of course.
If you get into that situation with Melbourne...
It'll be fantastic.
And there could be costs again. There could be sacrifices again.
Possibly. Possibly,
Is that part of the risk again? Fair risk? No ruts?
Yeah. That's the sort of caper it is.
What if your marriage was in jeopardy in some way because of the concentration and effort you put into the football team?
That'd be a hard one, wouldn't it?
Wasn't hard for you before, though, was it? You just had that goal and apparently nothing got in your road.
Well, before I grew into the whole scene and hadn't thought it out, this time, you know, you've got enough wisdom to think about it. And I just can't see the thing arising because Cheryl's she's very intelligent and she knows the sort of thing I'm into. And I reckon she could make us survive and I could make us survive and still be in football. But if it did come up, the theoretical question you asked, you know, I'd have to think about it.
So it came to the crunch.
That sounds a bit bad, doesn't it?
Well, let's theorise. Marriage or succeeding with this football team?
Might be the footy.
Really?